In this tutorial, I'll show you how to paint these blueberry pancakes with acrylic paints. This is a really fun painting to create because it's full of different textures from the fluffy pancakes to the glossy syrup. This is a shortened version of the video. If you'd like to watch the full-length tutorial, it's available on my Patreon. The full-length version is in real time, so you can paint along with me using full step-by-step instructions, reference images, paint colours, and everything else you need to complete this painting from start to finish. You'll also get access to every art tutorial I've ever created, so if you're interested, I'll leave a link below. We can start by painting the shadow underneath the plate. I'm painting my pancakes on a light blue background, so I've added some blue into my shadow colour. If you're using a different background colour, make sure you add some of that colour into your shadow mixture too. Use the darkest shade to paint directly underneath the plate, then gradually blend it outwards into your background colour. To paint the plate, use a range of light grey shades. You can add a little bit of yellow or blue to your greys to make them warmer or cooler. Plates can be quite tricky to paint because of the way that they reflect the light, so keep an eye on your reference image to help you paint the shadows and highlights in the right places. If you'd like to use the same reference image that I'm using, you can download it from the full-length tutorial. Use dark grey paint to add the shadows underneath the blueberries, as this will help to make them look more three-dimensional when we paint them in later. You can also use the same colour to paint the shadow underneath the syrup. To paint the pancakes, mix up a few shades of yellowy brown, ranging from light to dark. Use the mid-tone colour to paint the top of the pancake. Then add some lighter and darker shades by dabbing them on with your paintbrush to create a mottled effect, just like the uneven browning that happens naturally when pancakes cook. You can then use a darker shade of brown to add the shadows underneath the blueberries. To paint the side of the pancake, use the lighter shades of paint. The sides are lighter because they don't touch the pan when cooking. This also helps to separate the pancakes in the stack so that they don't all blend together. Add some shadows to the bottom and highlights to the top to create more dimension. To paint the other pancakes, use exactly the same technique. This time there will be more shadows across the top from the pancake above, so you'll need to use slightly darker shades of paint. Use dark brown directly underneath the top pancake. This creates the shadow while also clearly separating the two pancakes. Use the same light yellow shade to paint the side of the pancake, just as we did with the first one. This is what gives the pancakes that nice fluffy appearance. Continue using the same technique to paint all of your pancakes. Make sure they aren't stacked perfectly on top of each other, as a slightly uneven arrangement creates a much more natural looking stack. Now we can paint the syrup, which is my favourite part of this painting. Use a shade of brown that's slightly darker than the pancakes and use a thin paintbrush to paint the outline of the syrup. Add some glazing medium to a light brown paint mixture to make it more transparent. If you don't have any glazing medium, you can use a little bit of water instead, but the glazing medium does help to create a glossier finish. Paint this mixture inside the outlines of the syrup. As you can see, the transparency allows the pancakes underneath to show through. Then fill in the puddle of syrup on the plate below the pancakes. Now we can add some shadows to the syrup to create more depth and dimension. Use a darker shade and paint along the side of the syrup opposite the light source, which in my painting is the left-hand side. Then use the same shade to paint the shadow underneath the pancakes. To make the syrup look extra shiny, use a lighter shade to paint the highlights. Keep an eye on your reference photo and add this lighter paint where the syrup captures the light. This step makes the syrup look much more realistic as it creates form as well as shine. Use pure white paint for the brightest highlights to really make them stand out. You can also increase the contrast by darkening some of the shadows if needed. To finish the painting, we can paint the blueberries. Mix up a few dark blue shades, then use the mid-tone shade to fill in the whole circle. Add the shadows with the darker shade, and paint the highlights around the top using the lighter shade. Use the same technique to paint all of the blueberries, making sure to leave a dark circle in the middle of the highlights to create that distinctive blueberry appearance. Some of the blueberries will be in shadow while others will be closer to the light source, so keep this in mind as you paint them, as some will naturally appear darker than others. Continue painting all of the blueberries on top of the pancakes using the same technique. If you'd prefer to paint a different type of fruit instead, check out my channel, as I also have a tutorial showing you how to paint realistic strawberries, which I think would look great on top of these pancakes. To finish the painting, we just need to add a few final touches, such as brightening some of the highlights and darkening some shadows to increase the contrast and add to the realism. And that's how you paint a stack of fluffy pancakes. Remember to check out the full-length tutorial over on my Patreon if you'd like to learn exactly how to paint this in much more detail. I also have lots of other tutorials for more food paintings, colourful animals, and much more. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to see more videos like this.